For joining us here, big game at 1380 as Beloit Memorial taking on Janesville Craig here. The first of two meetings here between the county rivals. Not that far, hop, skip, and a jump away from one another. They get underway for the first of two meetings here this season, just before 5 o'clock. And we are going to get set for a little high school baseball here today. Sunshine, breezy, a little bit on the cool side. Nonetheless, should be a great day for baseball. Let's take a look now at the lineups here today. It'll be Mitchell Wolfley getting the start for Janesville Craig. 1-0 on the season, is yet to allow a run. In 7 innings of work, allowed just 4 hits. Struck out 5 to 3 walks. Again, no runs allowed for the right-hander who gets the call. The Craig Cougars, number 1 in the states for another week here in the high school baseball season. Leading things off now for Beloit Memorial, the Purple Knights center fielder. It'll be Drew Freitag, the left-handed hitting center fielder, who steps in as the first pitch is going to be just a little bit low. And it's ball number 1. So 1 ball, no strikes to count as we are underway at 4:56 here in the afternoon. Not quite quitting time yet, as Wolfley, the right-hander, will begin the twist and turn. And the 1-0 is in there for a called strike 1. 1 ball, 1 strike. Freitag will be followed by Corbin Ovis, the shortstop for the Purple Knights. The right fielder, Trent Porter, will hit third. Stephen Mackinnon, the catcher, in the cleanup spot if anybody can reach. The 1-1 fouled up along third. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Betancourt at third base today. Thought we may see him on the mound today. Not. He's been absolutely stellar on the mound this season for the Purple Knights. DH batting 6th, Avery Lewis. The left fielder, Matt Elliott, followed by the second baseman, J.D. Dixon, and Austin Jensen at first base rounds out the lineup for the Purple Knights as the 1-2 fastball high and away to even the count up at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Defense pretty much straight up on the infield and outfield for the Cougars. We'll set that lineup for you here after the battle between Wolfley and Freitag. Chopper hit to third. Spry backs up, roams to his left, just a hair, and then fires it across the diamond in time for a 5-3 putout to start play this afternoon from Riverside Park. Defensively for the Cougars, Vic Herbst's club coming off a win last night, now 7-0 on the season. The win over Baraboo 9-2. Dan Blomgren in left field today. We are here Saturday for the Craig Parker game. He was at third base. Another utility player for Coach Herbst to utilize. Nick Kramer in center, Austin Krause in right field. Infield diamond, Evan Spry, Jack Blumgren left side of the infield, Noah Berghammer, Luke Melmanger on the right side as the first pitch to Ovis is in there on the outer edge. Right-hander against right-hander for a called strike 1. The battery of Jacob Campbell behind the dish. We talked about him in the pregame conversation with Coach Vic Herbst. Ovis gets under one here, a mile in the air, sky to the foul territory, left field side, and behind the bag near the fence. Spry's going to make the catch. And there's 2 down. Evan Spry active here early on in the field. Ground ball ranging to his left. Foul ball ranging to his right. Well beyond the bag. Well in foul territory. And with an acreage of foul ball territory both sides of the diamond. Made a nice play there. So 2 up, 2 down. Trent Porter will get a crack at it now. The right fielder hitting from the right-hand side. Wolfley begins the wind. Fires. And that one's going to be spoiled foul up along first. 1 strike and nothing on Porter. As Porter steps in, Austin Krause will shade just a little bit towards the line and right. Kramer more in the gap in right center field. A lot of room in left center. And that's going to be a base hit up the middle as Blomgren can get there. He'll get the pick behind the bag in the outfield. He'll throw it. But about a step and a half, 2 steps shy. Good effort just to get that one, get some leather on the baseball. That'll be an infield single, and the first inning will continue for Beloit Memorial as Trent Porter with a base knock here in the first. So 1 on, 2 down as Mackinnon will step in, the catcher leading the team with 7 RBIs on the season. Not an RBI opportunity here. 7 for 21 entering play here this evening. As Beloit Memorial going with the gray uniforms and the purple pinstripes. Purple numerals and lettering, the white trim. As Mackinnon steps in from the right-hand batter's box. Wolfley now for the first time from the stretch. Sets up the letters and fires. First pitch strike on the outer edge. And it's 1 strike and nothing. After starting free tag out of the zone here this afternoon, 3rd straight batter to step in the box, get a first pitch strike against Wolfley. Little slide step, and the fastball jammed Mackinnon. Slow roller to short. Blomgren ranging in, gets the pick, gets the throw on the run. And a 6-3 putout. Stephen Mackinnon and the Purple Knights, they go down here at the top of the first. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, and 1 left on base. After 1/2 innings complete here at Veterans Field at Riverside Park in Janesville, it's Beloit Memorial. Nothing. Janesville Craig coming to bat. This is high school baseball in the Big Game of 1380, the Big Game of 1380.com. So Beloit Memorial gets a 2-out base hit, infield single for Trent Porter. Otherwise, a couple of ground ball outs and a fly out behind the third base bag in foul territory. Is now Brendan Staven will take the pitcher's mound for the Purple Knights. The right-hander gets the call, and he'll work against the top-ranked team in the entire state, Division I, Janesville Craig Cougars, 2 straight trips to the state tournament up in Grand Chute. And their lineup here for Coach Vic Kerp's undefeated Cougars. We'll start with shortstop Jack Blomgren to set the table. Austin Krause will bat second. He's in right. Third baseman Evan Spry will hit third. Cleaning up the catcher, Jacob Campbell. Noah Berghammer hits fifth. He's at second base. Malmanger, first baseman, hits sixth, followed by the center fielder, Nick Kramer. Caleb White, the DH, he's hitting eighth. And Dan Blomgren, the left fielder this afternoon, will round out the lineup. So we start and end the lineup with Blomgren, Jack, and Dan. As we get things underway, bottom of the first, right-handed hitting shortstop, University of Michigan Wolverine recruit. Waits for the first offering from Staven, and that is inside off the plate. It's 1 ball and no strikes. And you see a lot of the Cougars' statistical numbers here thus far this season through 7. Maybe not the highest of averages. They're creeping up rather quickly, especially when we get deeper in this order. It's 1 ball and 1 strikes now on Blomgren. But they're taking their fair share of walks. Very patient, very disciplined at the plate. Saw that on Saturday against Janesville Parker the first couple times through, and then they started to see it and started to get single and double and put together the runs. The 13-2 barrage topped the crosstown rival there. A perfect setting for Easter weekend. 2 balls and a strike now on Blomgren. Leans back, waits the offering now from Staven. And he'll chop this one up along third. Foul ball. 2 balls, 2 strikes, leadoff man for the Cougars. Blomgren just 4 of 14, not including last night's game with Baraboo. But has scored 10 times already this season. He's been hit by a pitch, walked 8 times already this year. About a walk plus per contest for Blomgren. The 2-2. Off speed, goes the other way. And that's going to be foul. Spoils the 2-2. Beloit Memorial straight up. Betancourt at third base. Just behind the bag. 2 strikes. Not expecting any funny business from Blomgren to lay one down. And the windup and the pitch. That one's inside. And the count's full. 3 balls and 2 strikes. Leadoff man for the Cougars here in the bottom of the first. Both teams with the game yesterday is the 3-2 coming home. And on the hands, Blomgren gets under it. Pop fly. It's going to get into foul territory. And the pitcher will call everybody off. And the catch we made. Staven gets the pop fly in foul territory. There's 1 out here in the bottom of the first inning. So a long battle goes in favor of the Purple Knights in that one. 1 up, 1 down. And it's up to Austin Krause now to set the table with 1 out. The right fielder step in, 8 for 17 on the season. As he hits from the right side. Staven, a slight hesitation in his motion with the wind up, and there's going to be a bobble at shortstop, and the throw is going to be over, but it's going to be late. A bobble at short for Ovis allows Krause to get down the line, and that's quickly an E6. Krause hustling all the way out of the box. Had to be a clean pick in order to get the speedy Krause. Instead, he's on at first, a slight bobble. Infield is Betancourt at third, Corbin Ovis at short, J.D. Dixon at second, Austin Jensen at first base. got Stephen Mackinnon, the battery mates of Staben on the mound. And the first pitch to Evan Spry is a little bit low. Blocked by Mackinnon. 1 ball, no strikes. The outfield, Matt Elliott in left field, Freitag in center, and Porter in right field. So 1 on, 1 out. First base runner for the Cougars this afternoon. Spry with that slightly open stance. And a quick turn on Kraus, and a little closer than maybe Kraus was anticipating. Staven from the stretch will work just slightly off the first base side of the rubber, otherwise pretty much right in the middle of the rubber on the mound. That one's wide. Outside, 2 balls and no strikes to Spry. 1 on, 1 out. Bottom of the first, no score. Here on an absolutely gorgeous Tuesday afternoon. Holding at the letters, kicking and firing, and Staven just missing. 3 balls and no strikes on Spry. And you could say be careful with this 3-hitter, but you got the red-hot Jacob Campbell on deck. Spry at 3-0, crouches right over the inner half of home plate. And the 3-0 swinging away and flying one in the air to left field in foul territory. Betancourt backing up and bobbles the baseball, and it pops out of his glove. And that'll be strike 1. Betancourt had it. Looked like he tripped up as he tried to put the brakes on, make the catch, and it lipped out on his way down, tumbling backwards. And Spry gets a second life here. Could have been the second out. Tough play to make there for Betancourt. Instead, it's 3 balls and 1 strike. So Spry, after a jog down the baseline, will head back to the box. And Staven back in it. The 3-1. Spry is going to circle around this one. Hits it deep to right center field. This one is carrying all the way to the wall. It's going to hit square off the wall in right center. Spry's in with a stand-up RBI double. And just like that, the Janesville Craig Cougars have a 1, and the Janesville Craig Cougars have on an RBI double from Evan Spry. Betancourt is going to want to have that one back. Tough play, but immediately results in a run-scoring double for Spry. RBI for Spry this afternoon is 6th of the season. And just like that, Janesville Craig with a run on the board. Took them to the 4th inning last night up in Baraboo to get things going, but they would strike for 3 in the 4th, 3 more in the 5th. 2 coming in the 6th, and 1 for insurance in the top of the 7th. And now perhaps the hottest of all hitters, and Jacob Campbell going to get a crack at it here in the bottom of the 1st. The runner in scoring position here in the first one down. Campbell wins the first offering, is wide and outside. That's ball 1. 1 ball and no strikes. As the catcher on the way to the University of Illinois. Waits the 1-0. Staben spending a lot of time looking at Spry, and Campbell's going to get hit on the inner half. Campbell will take the jog to first, and now there's 2 on with only a 1 away and 1 in here in the bottom of the 1st. And Noah Berghammer now will step into the box with a couple of ducks on the pond. So 2 on, 1 out, 1 run in. And Janesville Craig already in the 5 spot of the order here in the 1st. And forcing Staben to really buckle down now. Outfield straight up. Infield going to try to turn, get Spry. Good throw, good pickoff move, and they got him. Spry got caught too far off the bag. Good quick turn and spin, and the throw was executed perfectly that time for Staben. And Evan Spry is going to be eliminated on a 1-6 putout for the second out of the frame. So 2 down now, runner at first, still 1 run in, with Berghammer still in the box waiting the first offering. Now confidence got to kick up just a little bit there for Staben in the first. Off-speed pitch. Stays high and above the letters. 1 ball, no strikes now to Berghammer. And other than the first pitch swinging for Kraus, It's been a first pitch out of the zone from Staben. He's been behind in each of the first 5 batters for the most part here thus far this afternoon. And the 1-0 comes back with a fastball outside. That's in there. Evens it back up, 1-1. And a big out on the base paths there for Beloit Memorial to get against the Cougars. Don't make a whole lot of those. Staven comes set here on the 1-1 offering. Comes home. Campbell's going. Throw from Mackinnon is off the line. More towards second base. Flying in from the shortstop position is Corbin Ovis just to make the catch instead of letting it go into right field. And that'll be a steal all the way for Campbell, and he's in there in scoring position now with his first swipe of the afternoon. Campbell with the steal. And now gives Noah Berghammer an opportunity to drive in a run. 3rd steal of the season for Jacob Campbell. And they're going to try to pick him off, and that throws wide to the second base side. And Ovis again diving to make the stop there and keeping that baseball in the infield. It's got to be a quick turn at second, or to throw it to second, especially with a right-hander. 2 balls and a strike to Berghammer. Check on the runner, and firing a fastball. That one's in there. And it's 2 balls and 2 strikes. Berghammer thought that might have been just a little low as he steps out of the box. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Man on second here in the bottom of the first. Craig with a 1-0 lead atop Beloit. And the 2-2. Swing, lifted high. Shallow right center field. Backing up is a second baseman. Not going to be able to make the play there is Dixon. And Berghammer is going to be thrown out on his way to second. The run will score as that one got down to the triangle between Freitag and Porter and Dixon. RBI single for Berghammer, who's then thrown out on his way from first to second base. The run did count. It crossed home plate first before the out was made. And the first inning will then come to a conclusion. Our score now after 1 full inning complete. Here from Veterans Field at Riverside Park in Janesville, it's the Janesville Craig Cougars 2, Beloit Memorial nothing. This is high school baseball in the Big Game of 1380, the Big Game of 1380.com. Today, we head to the second inning now. Janesville Craig with a 2-run first. And they get a couple of runs on a couple of plays that both sides would like to have back. A couple of runners picked off for Janesville Craig on the base paths. And Beloit Memorial giving up that first run after a misplay in the field. It was a tough play to make for Betancourt, but a play that he'll tell you he probably should have completed in foul territory. Nonetheless, 1 complete. We move to the top of the second. It'll be, guess who, right on cue. Miguel Betancourt to lead things off. 3rd baseman, followed by Avery Lewis and Matt Elliott here this afternoon. Wolfley steps back on the mound, and his first offering here in the top of inning number 2 is a little bit low. It's ball 1. So Betancourt, who did pitch yesterday, so that's why we didn't see him here this afternoon. In the 11-1 win over Madison East, pitched 3 times. His team has been dynamite this season when he's been on the mound. Hitting, still trying to get there. Entering play today at just $150 on the average, just 3 for 20. And he's had 2 balls, no strikes. He's going to get a base hit. There's a clean shot to left field. And that's going to be a leadoff base runner for Beloit Memorial now. Runner aboard in a 2-run deficit going against Mitchell Wolfley. And that's the second hit of the contest now for the Purple Knights. Nice clean shot to left. No chance for either Spry or Blumgren to get. And now it's a chance for Beloit Memorial. We'll see if they decide to play small or get after it here. Spry's going to come in on the corner at 3rd base, expecting perhaps a bunt with left-handed hitting Avery Lewis, the DH to bat now. Lewis looking like he's going to swing away. Takes a look at a first pitch strike called on the outer half. Lewis, the DH here today for Beloit Memorial, coming in at 7 for 24. 292 batting average, one of the tops on the team. And a chance to move some runners over or do it himself. There's going to be a tapper to short. Hits off the side of the mound. Blumgren, no chance at second. Will throw it to first just in time to get Lewis on the 6-3 fielder's choice. So 1 down now here in the top of the second. On the advancement there is Betancourt. Betancourt very fast. gets into second with ease. Smart play there for Blomgren to take the sure out with a 2-run lead early on. It's now a runner on second base for Beloit Memorial. RBI opportunity for the left fielder, Matt Elliott. Another left-handed batter for Coach Ryan Schmitz, who's enjoying his third season as the head coach of Beloit Memorial. As Wolfley from the stretch steps out, steps right back on the mound. Checks on the runner at second, now comes home with it. Fastball low, stopped by Campbell, and it's 1 ball and no strikes. Schmitz, year number 3, took over in March of 2014, just before the season was starting, or perhaps a few practices in. And has been the head coach ever since, heavily involved the Legion as well. Beloit 19U Legion team with 30 wins last summer, including some epic battles against the Janesville Legion Club. Some memorable weeknights, weekend games between the two programs this summer. Janesville Craig swept the series last year in the WIAA high school season, winning 6-0. And the first encounter as the 1-1. Wolfley checking on the runner at second. Betancourt fires home. That one's in there for a called strike. Janesville Craig would also win the second encounter between the two, 7-3. That one was at Telfer Park. First of 2 meetings this season between these two respective clubs. Second one coming up in May on the 16th at the Sports Complex in Beloit. On a Tuesday night as well. We'll bring that one for you here on the Big AM of 1380. The 1-2, Wolfley coming home. That one's fouled back to the backstop. We'll do the 1-2 over. A lot of long at-bats. Both clubs not afraid to take a few pitches, work the count. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Betancourt on second, led off the top of the second with a single to left field. Advanced to second on the fielder's choice when Avery Lewis bounced out to the shortstop Blomgren. Now a 1-2 count for Matt Elliott of Beloit Memorial. Janesville Craig's Wolfley going to turn and wanted to throw at the second, but neither the shortstop Blomgren or the second baseman Berghammer were occupying the base. And we've already this afternoon, this early evening, have seen more pickoff attempts at second base than I think I've seen the last 2 seasons combined. A little word there between the shortstop Blomgren and the pitcher Wolfley. And when you work on that pickoff at second, your center fielder's got to be heady and be ready to react. A lot of times those balls will go into center field. That's Nick Kramer's job here this afternoon. As the sunshine is gone away for the most part, cloud cover rolling in. And there's strike 3 called. Outside corner, the first punch out of the afternoon belongs to Wolfley. And there's now 2 down here in the top of the second with the strikeout. So after a leadoff single, 2 straight outs, Wolfley is 1 out away of getting out of the second. J.D. Dixon, the second baseman, will bat. Coming in at a cool .333 on the season in the early goings. Game number 9 for the Purple Knights. RBI opportunity for Dixon as he awaits the offering from Wolfley. He'll tap that one on the ground up along third, and that's foul. 1 strike and nothing on Dixon. Dixon coming in 6 of 18, has scored 3 times. Couple of doubles to his ledger, and has driven in 5. Not bad for an 8-hitter in an order. And Beloit Memorial, taking a look at a lot of their scores this season. A lot of times they've struggled to score runs. A couple of 10s and 8s, but a lot of 4s, 1s. Another 4. It's kind of been feast or famine for the Purple Knights this season. Did score 11 last night. See if they saved any for this evening. Down 2-0 here in the top of the second. And it's a ball and a strike now on J.D. Dixon as Wolfley misses the zone. Janesville Craig pushed 2 across in their half of the first. They'll have the 6, 7, and 8 hitters due up. Melmanger, Kramer, and White. And if anybody can reach, it'll be Dan Blomgren to bat. A lot of pitches through the first inning plus for Wolfley. And the kick Inside, almost unbuckled Dixon on that one. Backs him out, lifts the arms, and it's 2 balls and 1 strike. 2-1. Runner on second. 2-0 Janesville Craig here in the top of the second inning at Veterans Field. Hopefully takes a sign from Campbell, who sets the target. Leg kick and fires. In on the hands that time. Little vibration there. Dixon steps out. The new baseball being thrown into play, and it's still 2 balls and 2 strikes. Busy night in the Big 8. Not just baseball, but also softball, tennis, track. Had a big golf meet yesterday up in Madison. Both these teams' golf programs were heavily involved in. And the 2-2 coming home. That one's high, and we're full. 3 balls, 2 strikes. 2 outs here at the top of the second. Janesville Craig with a 2-run lead atop Beloit Memorial, 2-0. Betancourt is standing on second for the Purple Knights, who led off this inning with a single. Kramer, the center fielder, well in the gap in right center. And the 3-2, and hopefully will step out. Another big game in the region here tonight in the Rock Valley. Tuesday, Thursday, home and home series. How about this? Number 1, Jefferson, at number 4, Beloit Turner getting together. And it's a 1-0 Turner lead in the third over Jefferson at this juncture. And hit on the ground up along third. Is another one spoiled foul. So a few more pitches to be thrown here for Wolfley. Count remains at 3-2. And southeast Wisconsin, and right here in the Janesville-Beloit area, the conferences and the teams involved in the Rock and the Big 8, a couple of the best conferences for baseball and softball you could find. Top to bottom, so many quality programs, athletes, programs, coaches. 3-2, swing and a miss. Dixon comes up empty, and the second straight punch out of the contest for Wolfley. And after giving up a leadoff single to Miguel Betancourt, Beloit Memorial comes up empty here in the top of the second. Beloit with no runs on 1 base hit, no errors, and 1 man left. After a 1 1/2 innings complete here at Veterans Field at Riverside Park in Janesville, it remains Janesville Craig 2, Beloit Memorial nothing. This is high school baseball on the Big AM of 1380, the Big AM of 1380.com. Mother Nature, knock on wood, project's done. As we project's done. Right hand hitting first baseman takes a look at a called strike 1 to begin his first AB here this evening. Strike 1 his first AB here this evening. Strike 1 to begin his first AB here this afternoon. 5 for 18 on the season. That 4 of those hits singles. Quickly 0-2 now as he takes a look at strike 2. 0-2 now. And it takes 4 runs, strike 2. And it takes 4 runs, strike 2. And Russell walked a couple of times this season as well, and he's going to circle around and bang this one to fairly deep center field. And 375 straight away. Plenty of room there for Drew Freetag, who's right on that one, who makes the call and the squeeze out there in the center field. And there's 1 up and 1 down. 1 center fielder to another as Nick Kramer will step in now for the Cougars. His first AB here today. Nick Kramer will get the bat against Brendan Stavin. Kramer on Saturday here at Riverside Park went 1 for 2 with a run scored. Also struck out once. Was hit by a pitch in that game. Takes a look at a called strike 1. No balls and 1 strike. Stavin starting to get into a little bit of a groove, and there's a swing and a miss. Strike 2. Just like Melminger. Kramer getting right in front of folks. Kramer steps back in. Here comes the windup and the pitch. Brendan Stavin going upstairs. Kramer lays off that one. And it's now 1 ball and 2 strikes. Caleb White, the DH, will bat next. And if anybody can reach Stan Blomgren. And that one's going to hit Kramer. Second time a Cougar's been hit already here this afternoon. It was Campbell getting hit in the first. And now Caleb White will bat. So the second consecutive inning, I know we're just 2 innings in, but that's 2 straight innings a Cougar has been plucked by a baseball. And now the left-hand hitting DH, Caleb White, will get the call. It was between White as well as J.J. Brennan. It was Brennan who got the start against Parker on Saturday. But Coach Vic Herbst with the lefty-righty matchup. If it's a lefty on the mound, we'll go with Brennan. If it's a righty, we'll go with White. And it's nice to have that luxury and confidence to play guys like that. Of course, Janesville Parker starting with Jordan Bailey, the left-hander. Coming back with Jaden Ellis. It allowed Brennan to get the start, and how about that breaking ball? Bends right in there, called strike one. Good news for Staven. I know he's hit a guy, the runner on base, with one out. But each of the last three hitters, all three hitters this inning thus far, have started out with the first pitch strike, something he struggled with in the first. Now check turn on the runner at first. And Kramer's back with a belly flop slide. Reaching back for the bag, and he's in there. So 1 on, 1 out, bottom of the second. Janesville Craig with a 2-0 lead over Beloit Memorial, this Big 8 matchup. And Staven's going to miss that one down and away with a fastball. It's now 1 ball and 1 strike. Staven on the mound doing a lot of landscaping, trying to adjust his push-off leg there right up against the rubber. And even his plant leg he's having some trouble with getting that down as well. As there's a fastball in there at the knees, thereabouts. It's called strike 2. White will step out, step right back into the box. Kramer will extend his lead. And extending it just ever slightly. And they get a quick turn. And he's back in time. And the ball is going to be lost as Jensen bobbled it. Threw it behind him, but gets it before Kramer can think about advancing. Count remains 1 ball and 2 strikes. Bottom of inning number 2. Janesville Craig with 2 in their half of the first. And the 1-2 tapped up along first and gets back to the backstop. We'll do the 1-2 over again as Caleb White continues the battle here against Brendan Staven. And already we've seen both starting pitchers, Mitchell Wolfley on the Craig side, Staven here on the Beloit Memorial side, really ratcheting up that pitch count. Both teams with the game last night. Both teams with games later on this week, because there's a foul ball again, which means another throw. It's not all about innings this year, folks. It's all about pitch count. How far and how long can your pitcher go is, well, it's set in stone. Only 100 pitches per night. Then you got to bring somebody else in. That's the maximum allotted. And there's some pros and there's some cons about that, just like the inning rule was. Here's the 1-2. Mackinnon sets the target, sets outside, and that one just missed the outside corner. Even up now, 2 balls and 2 strikes. Good battle here between White and Staven. The National Federation of High School Sports putting in the pitch count of 100 pitches, and for the most part, schools in the National Federation that acknowledges the rules they put in. How about that? Comebacker right back up the mound. Oh, laying out of the way was Staven. Got out of the way of that one. That sliced right into center field off the bat of White. Base hit. And there's a couple of Cougars on the base paths now as Kramer, after he was hit, will advance to second. And Caleb White has himself a base knock. First and second with 1 out. And you wouldn't think it, but here it is. The heart of the order and the very dangerous part of the order starting right here, the number 9 spot with Dan Blomgren. Dan Blomgren about as key to the success of the Cougar offense as any other spot in the order, that number 9 spot. It's your second leadoff, or the second time through, the end of the first, start of the second, is your leadoff hitter. And Blomgren spoils the first pitch, had a good cut, but got under it and sent it back to the backstop. Strike 1 on Dan Blomgren. Dan, the younger brother of Jack, sophomore, also committed to the University of Michigan. So plenty of time before he ultimately has to make up his mind, but Jack's going there. Not a bad option to go there as well. And what he's got going already is a sophomore. He's part of the team that went to state last year as a freshman. There's a bender outside. Staven could find the zone. 1 ball, 1 strike as the Cougars continue to battle here in bat in the bottom of the second. Craig leading 2-0 over Beloit now, with runners on first and second and 1 out here in the second. A gorgeous afternoon here. And they're going to quick turn, check on the runner. Kramer's back before the throw got there without a slide. First and second, one out. Staben going to step in, step out, and readjust the ball cap. Step back on the box. They'll set up the letters. Here's the 1-1. That one's outside. 2 balls and 1 strike now. Cougars continue to be very patient at the plate here this afternoon. And both pitchers didn't start keeping track. Too late to do that, but both guys' pitch counts well ahead of schedule. And this one's a mile in the air. Has sent foul behind home plate. And it's now 2 balls and 2 strikes. The number 9 hitting left fielder, Dan Blomgren. Only 1 out. 2 men aboard for Janesville Craig. They already got a 2-run lead atop Beloit Memorial. And barring a double play, Jack Blomgren will get an at-bat here in the second. Staben will set at the letters. Looks at second, fires home, goes off speed, and it breaks outside, away from Blomgren. And we're full yet again. 3 balls and 2 strikes. Now Stephen Mackin, the catcher, is going to hand deliver this baseball to Staben on the mound. So 3 balls, 2 strikes with 1 out. 2 men on here in the last of the second. Janesville Craig, Beloit Memorial, the first of 2 meetings this season between the clubs. And the first of 2 consecutive trips this week for Beloit Memorial to Janesville. They'll take on Janesville Parker on Thursday at 5 o'clock. We'll have the call right back here on WBEL, the big AM of 1380. As now Staben's ready to work. Comes set on the 3-2. He's going to throw back to second. Kramer's back again in time. This time he slides in there. And still awaiting the 3-2 to Blomgren. Beloit very concerned about the base running of Janesville Craig here this afternoon. Checks on Kramer. This time he comes home. The 3-2 is going to be belted deep to left field. Backing up and camping under this one to make the call. The catch is Matt Elliott. He'll throw it back into Overis right away, not allowing the Cougars to tag up. Would have been a tough tag there from Kramer at second with the hit out to left field in front of him. And he'll have to stay put. Blomgren gave it a good battle and a good ride, but there is, in fact, the second out of the inning by Dan Blomgren. So runners stay put, first and second. Now 2 outs here at the bottom of inning number 2. And the leadoff man in the order, Jack Blomgren, gets his second AB of the contest and a run-producing role this time. He popped out in foul territory up along first when Brennan Staben came over to make the catch to lead things off at the bottom of the first. And the first offering here is lived outside. 1 ball and no strikes. And again, Mackinnon is going to deliver the baseball to Staben himself. It allows the home plate umpire to dust off home plate. Not sure if there's communication issues or with the runner at second base, maybe relaying some messages to the hitter or just trying not to give Kramer a good read at perhaps taking third base here. So 1 ball and 2 strikes to Jack Blomgren. Staben will come set. Checks on Kramer at second a couple times. Comes home and Blomgren, a 1-hopper right at the shortstop, Ovis, who flips it on over to the second baseman, and J.D. Dixon. And the Beloit Memorial Purple Knights will get out of Dodge with a 6-4 fielder's choice ground out to leave 2 Janesville Craig Cougars stranded at first and second. Janesville Craig, they get a couple of men aboard, no runs, 1 hit, no errors. 2 men left on base after 2 complete from Riverside Park in Janesville. It remains the Janesville Craig Cougars 2. The Purple Knights of Beloit Memorial, nothing. This is high school baseball, the Big AM of 1380 and the Big AM of 1380.com. On the scoreboard for Janesville Craig, no runs, 1 hit, no errors, 1 left on base that last half inning. My correction there. Those keeping track the old-fashioned way back at home. Out and about. And is everybody all right down there? And looks like we're short of baseballs here. And we get that, though. That did hit a light. That's what we're doing. We got a light bulb that got hit by that foul ball to lead off here at the top of the third. And that's going to be more than just a little kick over the dirt. Let's hope we don't need the shot back out here. The umpire's going to come over to make sure no glass and no big fragments are going to be left on the field of play. And Folks, this is not a safety 101 video with umpires and coaches picking the glass up with their bare hands. Get some gloves, get a shop vac, get something other than your bare hands, but guys want to get this game going. It's a beautiful day. The rain, knock on wood, and is not supposed to start till around the 11, 12 o'clock time tonight. Overcast skies, little nice breeze. It is absolutely gorgeous for baseball here today, and they got the rake, they got a broom now. But what are the odds of a baseball hitting the light that's about a mile in the air? And it's just behind the back shoulder of a right-hand hitter, but it's a lefty at the box. Takes a little talent to hit a baseball there and a whole lot of luck, but that's exactly what we have. So we got a delay, not for lightning, not for rain, but for broken glass from a light bulb here at Riverside Park. And there's about 3-4 Janesville Craig coaches, both umpires, including Vic Herbst, helping out here to pick up the glass right along the fence line here in the cage. Netting above it. And there's a broom, there's a rake, trying to get every little bit of that glass out of play. Now the odds are slim, but the odds are greater that somebody could run into play on that side than the guy at the batter's box and Austin Jensen of actually hitting a light again. So Austin Jensen, the Beloit Memorial first baseman, we got a bill coming your way for a new light bulb here at Riverside. The Janesville Craig Cougars continue to pick up the glass. The umpires continuing to look. Looks like they got the majority of the big pieces out of there, but still they want to get every last fragment out just in case. Safety issue, of course. And again, we can put that under the category of not seen before at a high school baseball game. Go to a baseball game, no matter the level, you always see something new. Whether it's toasted grasshoppers at a major league ballpark or somebody getting a light bulb a mile in the air. So we're in the top of the third inning, just one pitch in for Mitchell Wolfley. And we'll see if perhaps Wolfley and Campbell decide to play a little catch here before we resume. As the Cougars in the field standing around, we see Kramer and Kraus in right center field coming together. Berghammer and Melmanger coming together on the right side of the infield. All alone in left field is Dan Blomgren. Hand on his hips. Ryan Schmitz giving the old, I'm not sure what to do right now, back to his dugout across the diamond. As we look to resume action here in the top of the third once all the glass has been picked up, and they're continuing to work down there feverishly. It's Janesville Craig 2, Beloit Memorial nothing here in the top of the third inning. One pitch into the third. And again, Austin Jensen with the foul ball that ricocheted and broke a light on the light pole right above the third base dugout where the Cougars reside. It's a good 25, 30 feet away from home plate. Well above reachable surfaces. Campbell and Wolfley continue to play catch now. Wolfley continue throwing a pitch just in front of home plate. Campbell will stand and just trying to stay loose and keep Wolfley warm here between the long delay with the broken and shattered glass. And they continue to look back and forth up along the left side here. And again, folks, I've been to hundreds of games, Snapper games, Brewer games, Cubs games, St. Louis. Never seen a light bulb shatter. You've seen glass bottles shatter in the near the concession stands. Somebody tripping, falling. Seen spilt nachos. Had somebody tip over nachos on my shoes one time. I haven't seen a shattered light bulb before. And Campbell Wolfley staying warm, and it looks like the officials are ready to resume. Field umpire back at his location at first. And the home plate umpire is ready to resume. He's going to dust off home plate, so let's play ball again, boys. So after the long delay, we'll get back to the top of the third. One strike in, nothing on the number 9 hitting Austin Jensen, the left-handed hitter. On the right-hand side, 4 of 8 on the season. And with the 0-1 coming home, swinging another foul back to the netting. As we take a look at that big Rock Valley matchup here, a little out-of-town scoreboard look. Jefferson, Beloit Turner tied up at 1 run apiece. in the middle innings. Tell you what, those two teams, that game could go on for a while. And the 0-2 called strike 3. So after a long delay, that'll be the longest 3-pitch strikeout you will ever see. Austin Jensen is down looking. 1 up, 1 down here in the top of the third. And that's a third straight punch-out for Mitchell Wolfley for Janesville Craig. 3 straight punch-outs, 4 straight retired. As we go back to the top of the order with Drew Freitag to bat, center fielder for Beloit Memorial. He bounced out to Evan Spry his first time up on a little slapper. Spry had to take about a step and a half to his left. Made the nice play and the nice throw to get the speedy Freitag, who's having a little trouble getting those batting gloves back on that he was sharing there with Jensen. And the first offering from Wolfley nearly unbuckled him in his shoe tops there. 1 ball and no strikes. So 1 time through the order, Wolfley, and at 2 1/3 innings, gives up just 2 base hits. Betancourt advanced to second base last half inning. And the 1-0 is going to be dumped into left center field. A big turn for Freitag before Dan Blomkern can get there. He'll throw it into Jack. And it'll be Drew Freitag with a 1-out base hit to left field going the other way as he plants that one in a nice location there in the gap between left and center. So the third base hit of the game now for Beloit Memorial. That's 3 straight innings they've gotten a man aboard. It'll be now Corbin Ovis to bat. He popped out. Remember, Evan Spry made the nice play in the first inning. The second batter well behind the bag. On the third base side, right up against the railing. And now time will be called as Ovis steps out. And Wolfley will step off the mound as well. So 1 on and 1 out for Beloit Memorial, batting here in the top of the third. Trailing Janesville Craig 2-0. And the first offering, Wolfley, cut on and miss. Strike 1. Ovis, shortstop. Made a couple nice plays in the field. Also bobbled one in the first. That allowed Austin Krause to reach on an E6. And he would score after Betancourt dropped a tough one in foul territory on a screaming double off the right center field fence. And there's a foul ball back to the backstop. It's no balls and 2 strikes now on Ovis. Here, a little more chatter coming out of the Purple Knight dugout up the first base side. They try to get a little rally going here. 1 on, 1 out. 0-2 count here to Ovis. Here's the kick from Wolfley. This one's going to be skied high in the air. Avoid the light pole here. Spry giving chase to third base side, running out of room. Reaches over the fence, and he became a lot closer than perhaps it looked like he was going to. He was about 2 feet away of getting some leather on it. And he may have gotten the top of the fence right on the armpit area. That's going to hurt a little bit if it did. But he came up empty, and it's a foul ball. Ovis will stay alive. So no balls and 2 strikes. Spry deceivingly quick. Spent a lot of time this offseason in the weight room to bulk up. A few more MPHs on the fastball this year on the mound. Also when he throws it over from the third base side. There's the 0-2. That one's in tight. It missed, and a quick throw down to first. And Freitag is back. Slapped the tag there by Mulminger right on the back of Freitag, but he was in there underneath the tag. And it's now 1 balls and 2 strikes to Corbin Ovis. Top of inning number 3. Trent Porter on deck. He got a single in the first. Infield single right up the middle. And the 1-2 coming home. This one is going to be a fly ball. As Nick Kramer in center field will back up. Stops. Makes the catch. Shy of the warning track. And we'll throw that one back in quickly on the fly out to center field. Ovis is 0 for 2. And there's now 2 down here in the top of the third inning for Beloit Memorial. Working against Mitchell Wolfley. As Trent Porter will bat for the second time, looking for his second base hit. So Beloit Memorial thus far, no runs on 3 hits, 1 error. 2 left on base. Janesville Craig 2 runs on 3 hits and 1 left. And Wolfley again from the first base side of the pitching rubber. Will fire in a first pitch, just missing the zone. And that's ball 1. 1 on, 2 outs now. It was a Drew Freitag base hit to left center with one out here in the top of the third. And a 2-0 Janesville Craig lead over Beloit Memorial. Wolfley comes set again. Checks the target. Doesn't look back at Freitag. And that one a little tight there. It's now 2 balls and no strikes on Porter. Freitag, 4 stolen bases on the season. Candidate to be on the move. We'll see if he does. The 3-hitter up and 2 outs in this third. And the 2-0. That one's inside again at the ankles. It's 3 balls and no strikes on Porter. You would say that Wolfley would be laboring because of the delay of the light shattering, but he came right back to strike out Jensen. And nice battle with Ovis. Just missing here. The 3-0 is right down Milton Avenue, and that one is high. So out of the zone. That's a 4-pitch walk. First walk issued for either side here today. That's going to allow Freitag to move to second base and in scoring position, as Steve Makinen will bat with a runner in scoring position, the tying run at first base, and Makinen coming in with a tied for a team best 7 RBI this season. Makinen also has walked 5 times with a double for his lonely extra base hit of the season. Slightly open stance for the catcher. He's also played quarterback on the football field. As the first offering from Wolfley, aggressive take there and swing for Makinen is fouled back and out of play. It's 1 strike and nothing. So 2 on and 2 outs. Top of the third. Beloit Memorial looking to tie this one up or at least scratch a run across here in the third. It's 2-0 Janesville Craig. They come to bat here in the last of the third inning. They will have the 2, 3, and 4 hitters due up. And Makinen would love to get one in the gap out there in left center field. All sorts of room to plant one. Quick turn at second and the throw home. That one's low. 1 ball and 1 strike now to Makinen. So a long top of the third. It started with a foul ball that shattered a light bulb right above the Janesville Craig, or overlooking and overlighting the Janesville Craig side, the third base side. And now time is called as Makinen will step out. 1 ball, 1 strikes. Wolfley working against Makinen here in the third. Started this afternoon at 4:56. Drew Freitag. And the 1-1 coming home. There's a strike on the outside corner. Quick snap throw from Campbell down to Mulminger, down to first. Not in time on the trail runner. And it's now a ball and 2 strikes. Wolfley 1 pitch away of getting out of trouble here in the third. 2-0 Janesville Craig, leading Beloit Memorial. Mitchell Wolfley, the starting pitcher for the Cougars, having to work here tonight. Will come set. Looks at second, comes home now. The 1-2, missed that one low. And it's now evened up at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Deuces are wild with 2 on and 2 outs. 2-2 count. And a 2-run lead for the Cougars. Lundgren straight up in left field. Kramer over in the gap in right center. Hugging the line a bit is Kraus in right. And the 2-2. Just missing high and in. Count goes full, and the runners will be able to get a head start here. And that could make a big difference if Makinen is able to put this one out in the gap somewhere. Makinen, a quick step out, quick step back in. He's ready to work. Campbell sets the target now for Wolfley. Nods in agreement with the sign. Sets at the letters. He's going to step off. Just to make sure the runners. Freitag at second, and Porter don't get a head start from first. Get a head start. He just doesn't want to get him that big of a head start. And all the excitement and the build up to the 3-2, we get to do it all over again. Blomgren patting the glove against his thigh as the runners go. 3-2, just outside. Just missing there is Wolfley. And bases are now loaded for Beloit Memorial. So a one-out single for Drew Freitag. A walk to Porter. And now a walk to McKinnon. And it's now up to Miguel Betancourt to perhaps tie this one up with a base knock. Continue the merry-go-round.
Courtesy running at first base for the catcher, number 6, Felix Estrella.
Or Janesville Craig can get out of trouble here as we get a courtesy runner now for Beloit Memorial. As Wolfley will bat. As Felix Estrella will get the call, the run for the catcher. Two outs. Bases are loaded here in the top of the third inning. 2-0 Janesville Craig. And swinging away is Betancourt, who fouls one back to the netting behind the backstop. It's 1-0 on the starting third baseman. Betancourt has struggled with the bats. 3 of 20 entering play, but a base hit his first time up was a line shot. A two-hopper into left field. That led off the second inning. He was stranded at second base. The 0-1, fouled again. Betancourt does not get cheated at the plate in his first two at-bats, we can tell you that much. Swinging away, a lot of contact. He has shown patience, 5 walks in 25 plate appearances this season. But now he's down, no balls and 2 strikes, got to protect. Bases loaded for Beloit Memorial. Wolfley for Craig, 1 pitch away of getting out of trouble. The 0-2, driven deep to center field, but Kramer ranging over from the other gap is there in plenty of time, and he makes the catch. So Beloit Memorial, they load him up. They leave the maximum without scratching across the run. No runs on 1 base hit, no errors, and 3 left on base. 2 1/2 complete for Veterans Field at Riverside Park in Janesville in this Big A matchup. It remains Janesville Craig 2, Beloit Memorial nothing. This is high school baseball, the Big AM at 1380 and the Big AM at 1380.com. A crispy chicken or the bacon cheddar burger. How about those for recommendations here on a Tuesday? As Janesville Craig batting here in the bottom of inning number 3, Austin Krause steps in. Quickly down, no balls and strike. A foul ball up along first. Janesville Parker and Middleton here this afternoon in Middleton. It's 4-0 Janesville Parker. Middle innings there. The Vikings looking for their first conference win. Lost to Craig 13-2 on Saturday. As Beloit Turner takes the lead in the 6th, 2-1 atop Jefferson. Matchup of number 4 and number 1 in the state. In the rock, and Austin Krause, a base hit past the outstretched paw of Austin Jensen. Austin Krause, a base knock to lead things off here in the 3rd. And that's the first leadoff base runner for the Cougars here this evening. 1 on, nobody out, bottom of the 3rd. Janesville Craig with a 2-0 lead. And going to look for perhaps a little run here in the 3rd. Out of the order, 3-4-5 now with Evan Spry, Jacob Campbell. Next two due up. As Spry, an RBI double his first time up right off the base of the wall in right center. Krause the runner at first, breaking ball in there, called strike 1. Staven continues to work in his 3rd inning. Both pitchers high in the pitch count category. As we hit the 6 o'clock hour here in the PM. Here's the 0-1. That one's outside. 1 ball and 1 strike. Krause, a threat to be on the move. 3 stolen bags. Has been caught twice, though. Let's see how aggressive the Cougars get here with the 3-4 hitters due up in Spry and Campbell. They'll check on him. Staven's throw is there, but a little bit late. Krause, good quick reaction time. 1 ball, 1 strike to Spry. One of 2 left-handers in the starting lineup of the batting order. And the 1-1 is just off the table. It's 2 balls and a strike. Spry, one of 4 players committed to play college baseball. Creighton his destination. Quick check on the runner at first. Kraus. Now coming set is Staben on the mound for Beloit. Going another breaking ball. Spry just a little bit out in front. Tap that one up along first. 2 balls and 2 strikes now on Evan Spry. Pitcher, third baseman. Part of the state championship team 2 years ago. Part of last year's team, of course. Got the start in the state quarterfinal against Burlington, where the Demons would win and eventually win state. And the off-speed pitch, swing and a miss, struck him out. But Kraus does take the steal to second base. Swing and a miss, Spry is down. Stolen base for Kraus, number 4. Runner on second and 1 out. Let's step out 10 seconds for station ID. 10 for an ID. This is high school baseball, the big game of 1380.
Live local radio that's here to serve you. We are the big AM 1380. WBEL AM. South Beloit, Janesville, Beloit.
Janesville Craig 2, Beloit Memorial nothing in the bottom of the third inning. 1 on and 1 out. Mike Daly behind the scenes in the big AM 1380 headquarters. Mike Zwiefel here at Veterans Field, Riverside Park on a gorgeous Tuesday evening now. Jacob Campbell, the starting catcher for the Cougars, steps in. 1 ball and no strikes. He was hit by a pitch and came around to score, including a stolen base his first time up in the first. And the 1-0 is in there at the knees. Called strike 1. Counts evened up at a ball and a strike. Campbell, starting catcher last year on the state qualifier. A reserve of the state championship team 2 years ago. He's really made major strides the last couple of years. A lot of summer ball. Most of the guys, both these communities play. 2 balls and a strike now. As Staben continues to methodically mow. Both pitchers, I guess you say, has been a methodical mowdown of the opposition. Just 2 runs across combined, 7 hits collected. And the 2-1, that's going to be hit at the end of the bat, but it's going to be muscled into left field. Vic Herbst is going to wave the runner around. Kraus will score. Didn't need the slide, but he did. And an RBI base hit to left field for Jacob Campbell. And the Janesville Craig Cougars get the 3rd run on the board, and they take a 3-0 lead atop Beloit Memorial here in the bottom of the 3rd. Campbell hit that one at the very end of the bat, but his forearms and his wrists so strong, he was able to muscle that one past the shortstop in Corbin Ovis and got its way into left field. It wasn't hit the hardest because it was at the end of the bat, and that helped Austin Kraus range from second all the way around third and trug all the way around home and to score the 3rd run of the game. And as Noah Berghammer steps in, takes a look at a called strike 1. Campbell on his way down to second base, and he is going to be in there, safe with a steal. Campbell in scoring position for the 2nd time with his 2nd swipe. And it's a runner at second and 1 out with a run in the 3rd. And as Campbell dusts the dirt off, it's Beloit Turner finishing off Jefferson tonight, 2-1 to win the first of 2 meetings this week in that Rock Valley Showdown. Jefferson in the new poll that came out, number 1 in the division. In Division 2, Beloit Turner, I should say, number 4. And I believe, don't have a schedule in front of me, they'll do it all again, opposite venue coming on up on Thursday. And it's now 0-2 to Noah Berghammer, who looked at called strike 1 on the Jacob Campbell steal. And now he's in a run-producing role with 1 out. Noah Berghammer steps in, 3-sport athlete here at Janesville Craig. Missed some time on the football field for Coach Ben McCormick's club, as that one's going to be skipped right over the 3rd base bag, and they're going to call that one foul. Vic Herbst right on top of that one is going to say, here's where it skipped. His arms extended. He said, hey, that was fair. And the home plate umpire didn't signal right away, but he did say foul. As Campbell was already around at 3rd by the time that play was whistled and blown dead. Coach Herbst was right on top of that one. Said that was a fair ball all the way. No replay here. So it remains no balls and 2 strikes to Berghammer. Campbell at second with a run in. Only a one out in the last of the third. 3-0 Janesville Craig. Staben comes home. Blocked by Mackinnon on the breaking ball in the dirt. And it's now a ball with 2 strikes. So Staben continues to work on the mound, the right-hander, saying, I need a new baseball. Wearing sunglasses. Don't see a whole lot of pitchers wear sunglasses. Maybe don't need them right now, but comfort thing. You start the game, you want the same vision, the same sight lines. He's ahead of Berghammer here, 1 ball and 2 strikes. He's pitched a good game here today, just 3 runs allowed, and that one by Campbell was just muscled into left field. It wasn't hard hit. And the 1-2 is blocked. Campbell started, stopped. Mackinnon located it quickly as he was in the first base side of just outside the home plate area circle of dirt. Kept it close. 2 balls and 2 strikes now to Berghammer. Looking back, the only really hard-hit baseball was the Evan Spry double. And that should have been that shouldn't have even happened. Betancourt dropped a foul ball the pitch prior. Here comes the 2-2, and it's full now. Berghammer was down, no balls and 2 strikes. He's battled back. It's 3 balls and 2 strikes. Runner at second base and Campbell, who drove in the 3rd run of the game when he singled to bring in Austin Krause. Campbell then swipes second and is trying to come home here with the bat of Berghammer. Staben set, looks at Campbell, now comes home, the 3-2. And Berghammer's going to get around on one, sending this one deep to left field. As Elliott's going to give it chase, it's going to hit off the wall. Campbell will score with ease. Berghammer will trot into second standing. And that's a 1-out RBI double for Noah Berghammer, who salutes his teammates in the third base dugout. And it's a 4-0 lead for Janesville Craig now over Beloit Memorial.
Now batting first baseman, Lou Melvin.
That's the second sharp hit of the contest for Janesville Craig. That one was off the bat of Noah Berghammer, who gets credit with the RBI. RBI double for Berghammer. He continues a hot start, 6 of 13 entering play today at .462. And with that, time is going to be called as Ryan Schmidt's going to come out to the mound. And we'll see if he's going to make a change or if he's just going to give just a pep talk here quickly to Staben. And it looks like that's exactly what he's going to do, just a little pep talk here and perhaps trying to get Staben to this end of this inning. 4-0 now, Janesville Craig over Beloit Memorial in the last of the third. As Melminger will step on the mound, or step in the batter's box. Berghammer, after coming over to this dugout area of his teammates, will have to head back to second base. So the first offering with a runner at second and 2 here in for the Cougars in the third is Melminger. And he's going to foul tip this one back into the mid of Mackinnon. And it's no balls and a strike to Melminger. Luke led off the second inning with a fly out to center field on an 0-2 count. We'll get at bat here now in the third. And the kick, the 0-1, is sent foul again. It's no balls and 2 strikes now to the first baseman for Janesville Craig, Luke Melminger. Like we were getting to with Berghammer, Melminger, a 3-sport athlete at Craig. Had a heck of a football season. At Madison East game over at Bree Stevens on a Thursday night. Had a couple of touchdown receptions, I think 3 in that game. As the 0-2 coming home on Melminger. Right back up the box. That's going to be a clean base hit. Vic Herbst's going to wave around the base runner at Berghammer. The throw was cut off at second. And an RBI single for Melminger, scoring Noah Berghammer. And it's a 5-0 Janesville Craig lead over Beloit Memorial now, here in the last of the third inning. Back-to-back-to-back RBI base hits for the Cougars. Berghammer scores after driving in Campbell, who scored after he drove home Austin Krause. That's 3 runs pushed across now in this half inning for Janesville Craig. 5-0 they lead over Beloit Memorial here in the third. And Brendan Staven is pushing towards the finish line of his afternoon on the mound. Quick turn and throw. Melminger is back in time. Nick Kramer was hit by a pitch, left stranded in the second at second base. With a runner on and one out, takes a look at ball one inside. 1 ball, no strikes on Nick Kramer. And you take a look, mentioned Berghammer, and just kind of going down, sound like a broken record here, but a number of these baseball players involved with the football and the basketball programs. That was going to get by Mackinnon. Fastball looked maybe crossed up the wires there, pitcher-catcher communication. 5-hole, all the way to the backstop, and easily advancing on the pass ball is going to be Mailmanger down to second base. So runner in scoring position yet again for Janesville Craig. Only one out in this third as they continue to bat against Beloit Memorial. Brendan Staven trying to get out of this one here. The 2-0 is high. It's 3 balls and no strikes. And some guys, as a pitcher, you just can't seem to find the strike zone against. Nick Kramer is that guy here for Staven. 3 balls and no strikes. 3 runs in, runner on second. Only one out in this third. Staven coming right down the middle, but it's low. Ball 4. And Nick Kramer's going to be on the board for the second time, this time with a walk. It's 2 on with 1 out. Runners on first and second. It looks like we're going to have a call to the bullpen and a new starting pitcher. There will be a pitching change coming in for Beloit Memorial. We'll tell you who that new pitcher will be for Ryan Schmitz, head coach of Beloit Memorial. On the other side of this timeout, a pitching change here at Janesville at Riverside Park. Janesville here in the third, leading 5-0 over Beloit Memorial, and a pitching change for Beloit. We'll tell you about that next here on the Big AM 1380. And we'll tell you about that next here on the Big AM. Pitching change, first one of the contest. Coming up here in the bottom of the third inning, Janesville Craig have put 3 runs across home plate here in the third. Still looking for more with runners on first and second and only 1 out. But they'll have to do their damage now against a new pitcher, and it's going to be moving in from shortstop, Corbin Ovest, who's coming in at an 0-1 record. This will be his 3rd game pitching. Comes in with a 3.31 ERA. In 6 1/3 innings, he's faced 26 batters, given up just 5 base hits, 3 runs, all earned, has walked 4 to just 2 strikeouts, and has hit 1 batter. Corbin Ovis on the mound in relief of Brendan Staven, and he'll get the first crack against Caleb White. Defensive changes. Tyrese Crosby into play third base as Miguel Betancourt moves over on the left side of the diamond from third to short. Now Ovis will step in his first offering on the mound from the first base side. From the stretch is going to be off the bat of White to center field. Right at Drew Freitag, who makes the call to catch calmly. And he throws in a dart to Betancourt at short. And there's now quickly 2 away. 1 pitch, 1 out. Gotta like that for Ovis coming in relief. So it'll be now up to Dan Blomgren, the left fielder this afternoon, and now evening for Janesville Craig. He flew out to left field fairly deep his first time up. That was the second out last half inning. So he'll bat with runners on first and second to the last of the third. 2 outs, 3 runs in, 2 more out there for the Cougars in a 5-0 lead atop Beloit Memorial. The leg kick from Ovis, and the fastball is inside and tight. 1 ball and no strikes. So the line not officially complete for Staven quite yet. 2 1/3, 7 hits allowed. Hit 2. Also walked a couple. Here's the 1-0. They're going to quicken. They got to move the throws on the other side of the bag, though, but they still got him out. Melmanger is going to be called out at second. Second time a Cougar has been thrown out on the bases at second base on the spin. Blomgren is left standing in the batter's box, and the Cougars' third is finally over. The Janesville Craig Cougars push 3 runs across against Beloit Memorial on the benefit of 4 base hits, no errors, and they leave 1 on base. 3 now complete. Veterans Field in Janesville at Riverside Park. It's Janesville Craig 5 now. Beloit Memorial nothing. This is high school baseball on the Big AM 1380 and the Big AM 1380.com for live. We move on now to inning number 4. Just after 6:19 here tonight. A lot of pitches being thrown by our starting pitchers here this evening as Mitchell Wolfley is back on the bump for the Cougars, beginning his fourth inning of work. It'll be Avery Lewis to lead things off for the Beloit Memorial Purple Knights, the DH in the 6th spot. Their task got a little bit tougher tonight against the top-ranked team in the state. Now trailing 5 runs to nothing as we hit the top of the 4th. First pitch from Wolfley got away from him. 1 ball, no strikes. The 1-0 lifted high in the air. And it'll end up right in the glove. 2 steps deep into the grass for the shortstop position. Jack Blumgren for the first out of this 4th inning. So 1 up, 1 down on just 2 pitches. And Mitchell Wolfley gets a quick calm out to start play here in the 4th. Left fielder Matt Elliott, who struck out looking. First of 3 straight punch-outs actually for Wolfley. That was the 2nd out of the 2nd inning. And the first pitch to Elliott is in there for a called strike 1. And Mitchell Wolfley doing a nice job. About 65-70%. First pitch is in there for a called strike 1 here. And the lineup against Beloit Memorial. Gotta like that. The 0-1 in their same spot. So nice, we'll try it twice. And it's no balls and 2 strikes against the left-hand hitting left fielder. This time with a lefty up, the center fielder Kramer playing straight up in center. And there's almost a slap hit, heads up parking lot. That's going to get foul and down with no harm done. No balls and 2 strikes remains to Elliott. It's a nice contingent of fans. See a lot of shorts and t-shirts. Quickly turn to sweatshirts and blankets here as the sun goes down in the middle of April. That one just missed outside. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Up in the press box with all the hot dogs, the brats, popcorn. It's plenty warm up here. The 1-2. Number off the end of the bat. Gets foul, and we'll do the 1-2 over again. Good to have baseball back. Good to have good playing weather like we have here today. Talking with Ryan Schmitz before the game. They're all caught up on games after a couple of delays. Earlier in the season, the 1-2 in tight. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Wolfley and Elliott in a battle here. Top of the 4th. You hate getting behind, but veteran coaches, Vic Herbst, Brian Martin, Craig Parker respectively, they've been around a while. 3rd year for Coach Schmitz. You start to just relax a little bit when you get some weather delays, knowing nice weather is coming up. And you like to play games, like to get some games in, see where you're at, but you like to play those games when it's at least 55, 60 degrees outside. Nobody likes playing in 35, 40 degree weather. Here's a 3-2 pitch coming home. High and outside, ball 4. And there's a 1-out base runner for Beloit Memorial. Elliott will walk. That's the 3rd walk issued by Wolfley, all coming in the last 2 frames. 2 last inning. Actually, the bases were loaded for Beloit Memorial with 2 outs, and then a fly ball to center off the bat of Betancourt ended the threat. And now with 1 on and 1 out, top of the 4th, 5-0 Craig. It'll be J.D. Dixon to bat. And the first offering to Dixon is high and out of the zone. 1 ball and no strikes. So Wolfley starting to labor just a little bit as now the Cougars going to send somebody down the left field side to perhaps get loose. And the 1-0 is out of the zone again. It's 2 balls and no strikes. It appears Ross March as well as J.J. Brennan are heading down the left field line. There may have been a 3rd Cougar, can't tell from this vantage point. 2 balls and no strikes. It's 3 balls and no strikes on Dixon. Wolfley has thrown a lot here tonight, but has kept the door closed for Beloit Memorial when it comes to the run department thus far. 3 hits allowed, has walked 3 as well, and is down 3 balls and no strikes on the right-handed hitting J.D. Dixon here in the 4th. A lot of room out in left center. We'll see if Dixon is swinging away in the 3-0. And the fastball is high and tight. Ball 4. It's 8 straight that have missed the zone. 2 straight walks for Wolfley. And a runner in scoring position at second base goes Elliott. And a runner at first now in Dixon, and Vic Herbst is going to come out, hand deliver a baseball to home plate umpire, and then he'll make a stroll to the pitching mound. And we'll see if Vic Herbst is going to make a move or if this is to just make sure his guys getting extra time to warm up down the left field side. And Vic looks like he made the signal, and he's going to make a move right now. He's not going to dance around it. Wolfley's afternoon and evening is complete. We'll tell you about the new Cougar pitcher coming up on the other side to relief Wolfley. 5-0 our score as we play in the top of the fourth. This is high school baseball from Veterans Field at Riverside Park in Janesville on the Big AM of 1380 and the Big AM of 1380.com. We continue on here at the top of the fourth inning. Two runners down for Beloit Memorial, one out. And the pitcher out there, Mitchell Wolfley, is Jacob Faust. Faust coming in with his third game pitching here this season now for Janesville Craig. In two previous appearances, one win, and 6 innings of work. Has given up just 2 base hits, 2 runs against, both earned. Has walked 2, struck out 5. Has a 2.33 ERA and 1 game started, 1 in relief. With opponents batting just 165 against. And the right-hander Faust, first pitch. A little more RPMs coming there, with a first pitch strike on the outer edge. And the first batter he'll see is Austin Jensen. And if you recall, the last time we saw Mr. Jensen, he was taking out the light pole, shattering a light bulb here this afternoon. And if it gets dark out here, we have to stop play. It's all Jensen's fault. Just kidding, of course. Broke 1 light. Plenty up there. No balls and 2 strikes. Won't be long. We'll be putting the lights on here tonight. Approach the bottom of the 6 o'clock hour. No balls, 2 strikes now. Jensen down behind Faust. First batter he'll see, righty against lefty. Faust, 2 runners to work with though on base. He inherits. And the 0-2, called strike 3, paints the outer edge. And there's quickly 2 outs. The first, and there's quickly 2 outs. Jacob Faust. So Mitchell Wolfley went 3 1/3, struck out 3 consecutively, by the way. Did walk 4. And gave up just 3 hits. He is responsible for the 2 runners on base. But Faust says, let's try to get out of this, but have to deal with the dangerous Drew Freitag, who singled and was stranded at third his last time up. That was in the 3rd inning. And the first pitch from Faust, got to be careful here, it's 1 ball and no strikes. Freitag bounced out sharply to Spry back in the 1st. And got a single to left center his last time up in the 3rd. Chops 1 up along first and foul as he pulled that one up in front of the off speed. And it's now evened up at a ball and a strike. No runs on 3 base hits, 1 error. Thus far, 5 left for Beloit Memorial. 5 runs on 7 hits, no errors. And 2 left on base for Janesville Craig here in the top of the 4th. 2 on, 2 outs. Faust will set just below the letters. Fires a fastball. Freitag gets some contact to left field. Dan Blomgren backs up, then lets a step towards the foul line. Makes the catch, and the side is retired. Pitching change. Doesn't matter. Beloit Memorial still comes up empty. And Janesville Craig continues to post up the shutout. No runs. No hits, no errors, but 2 left on base for Beloit in the top of the 4th. 3 1/2 complete. Veterans Field at Riverside Park in Janesville. It remains Janesville Craig 5, Beloit Memorial nothing. This high school baseball in the Big AM of 1380 and the Big AM of 1380.com. We move as we hit the halfway point of regulation baseball. Janesville Craig with a 5-0 lead atop Beloit Memorial as we mosey on into the last of the 4th inning. And the first clean inning to work with for Corbin Ovis on the mound in relief of Brendan Staben for Beloit Memorial. His first batter here in the 4th is Dan Blomgren, who looks at a called strike 1. Dan Blomgren was left standing in the batter's box when his teammate Luke Melmanger was thrown out at second base. The second Cougar to be thrown out at second here this afternoon. 2 1-6 putouts. Who had that on their baseball bingo card? And the 0-2 well outside. It's ball and a strike on Dan Blomgren. In his first at bat, he flew out to left field for the second out of the 2nd inning. And And the 1-2. That's a sharply hit ground ball to short. Betancourt, a long pick, a long throw off the line. Blomgren will be safe at first. Stutter steps, trips on his way to second base, and he'll get there standing. And let's see. He looks like he may have gotten hit by that baseball or maybe jammed something when he slipped and fell down. But he is in a lot of pain as Vic Herbst quickly going to come out and take a look at Dan Blomgren, starting left fielder today. And he's trying to work out the pain of his elbow and his forearm at second base. Bottom line is he's at second base. Vic Herbst is taking a look at him. And he's going to take his protective padding with him. And it looks like Dan Blomgren's going to be all right. But he made it to first, started around towards second. That's when he went down, got up a little gingerly. But it does not appear to be a lower body injury. He is shaking the hands and the wrists and the forearm. He's going to stay out there. So a runner on second base. It's going to be a tough play to make, but nonetheless, E6 Betancourt, a wild throw. Would have taken a good throw anyway to get out the speedy Blomgren. But he's on second base. E6, second error of the day for Beloit. And the first pitch now to Jack Blomgren is inside. 1 ball and no strikes. Blomgren batting for the third time. Jack Blomgren, the shortstop, popped out foul territory to the pitcher. Staven his first time up. And the 1-0 coming home. Outside edge. There's a strike. Corbin Ovis gets the call there. 1 ball, 1 strike. And then a 6-4 fielder's choice to end the second inning. Blomgren hit on the ground. And Dan Blomgren standing at second base. It's going to be hard to pick him off at second, or at least they assume. And Ovis will step off the pitcher's mound and chase him back with the old fake throw. 1 ball, 1 strike against the shortstop, Dan Blomgren. As we mentioned, 8 walks entering play tonight. And a wild throw is going to get off the glove of Betancourt. That's going to get into shallow right center. Dan Blomgren's going to advance. He's on his way to third. He'll stay put there. And Dan Blomgren on a wild throw, and then another errant throw. Couple of errors is going to end up at third base. So runner at third and nobody out. So 15 different ways to score Dan Blomgren here for the Cougars. In the last of the 4th inning, already Janesville Craig 5-0 over Beloit Memorial. And the pitch coming home to Jack Blomgren a little bit outside. It's 2 balls and a strike. Janesville Parker's up in Middleton today. 6-2. Janesville Parker looking for a conference win. Middleton just got their first. Parker looking for their first. And there's a called strike. Very enthusiastic strike call that time with the home plate umpire. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Runner at third. Nobody out. Last of the 4th. Cougars 5-0 over the Purple Knights here. Here comes the 2-2. Kicking and firing is Ovis. Fastball upstairs. This counts full. 3 balls and 2 strikes. Austin Krause, Evan Spry due up following Blomgren. And we got the payoff pitch coming here. Ovis up the first base side of the rubber. Sets at the belt. Kicks and fires. Fastball. Got it by Blomgren. Little bending and twisting action on that one. Blomgren strikes out, and he's the first casualty here in the 4th. Janesville Craig entering play, 40 walks to just 14 strikeouts against. And that is the first strikeout of a Cougar hitter today. And it's Jack Blomgren doing that. Now batting will be the right fielder, Austin Krause. He scored twice, also stole the base. He's got a base hit and reached on an air. Infield is going to come in now with 1 out. And he's going to get around on one, hitting this one to fairly deep left field. Dan Blomgren will tag with the catch. And the throw is going to be to the third baseman, Crosby, and it's going to be well late. And Blomgren is going to score standing. Sac fly, RBI to left for Austin Krause. For the second out, it's a run producing out. And the run there for the Janesville Craig, Dan Blomgren, 6-0 Cougars. Here in the last of the 4th inning is Evan Spry will bat with a run in, 2 outs, and nobody aboard. it'll be up to Spry to start a little two-out rally here. He struck out, so he was actually the first strikeout for Janesville Craig. And the first pitch he sees is low. 1 ball in, no strikes. Pencil that one in there. 1 strikeout for Brendan Staven. Now Corbin Ovis on the mound. His first full inning. An unearned run charged to his ledger. Working from the windup. Here comes the 1-1 against Spry. Batting for the left side. There's a strike on the outside corner. Got a much quicker pace, steady pace of Ovis. Gets the ball steady pace. Staven took a little more time in between pitches than what Ovis does. It's a broadcaster's dream to have a guy like Ovis who gets the baseball and goes. 1 ball, 2 strikes as Spry fouls off another one. Defense straight up, outfield fairly deep, especially in right field for Trent Porter. Spry banged one off the right center field wall back in the first, and Spry is going to be caught looking. Backdoor hook, outer edge, and there's a third out here, the 4th inning. Janesville Craig strikes out twice in the frame, but they do scratch across another run. 1 run on the benefit of no base hits, 2 errors, and nobody left on base. After 4 here at Veterans Field, Riverside Park, it's now Janesville Craig 6, Beloit Memorial nothing. This is high school baseball in the Big AM of 1380 and the Big AM of 1380.com.
Right fielder, Trent Porter.
That's a ball! High! Second base!
Welcome back to Riverside Park. Sorry about that, folks. A little technical difficulty down here at Veterans Field. Runner at third base now in Cameron Ovis after a balk from Jacob Faust of Janesville Craig, and then a fly out by Trent Porter out to center field. So 1 on third and 1 out here at the top of inning number 5. 6-0 Janesville Craig, as Ovis stands at third. Porter the fly out, and now Makinen at the batter's box. He walked his last time up. 1 ball, 1 strike the count against the Beloit Memorial catcher. In the cleanup spots, looking to drive home the first run. Won't need to. This one will get it back to the backstop. Faust's pitch gets wide of Campbell, and Beloit Memorial, you can't get 6 before you get 1. The first run crosses on the wild pitch. And Beloit Memorial gets their first run pushed across here in the top of inning number 5. And Makinen now in front of the count, 2 balls and a strike with just 1 out. Now the bases are clear. So 6-1. The first run for Beloit Memorial after putting 11 on the board last night against East. And the 2-1, there's a strike at the knees. Right down Wisconsin Avenue, would even the count up at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Faust working his first full inning of work in relief. And goes to the off speed on the 2-2. That's outside. It's now full, 3 balls and 2 strikes. Betancourt on deck. Then Avery Lewis, the batter. As Makinen in a 3-2 count. Waits the offering for Faust, who begins his windup. Chopper to third. Spry waits for it. Charges. Long throw. Chest high. Meldinger. No problem there. 5-3 put out. And there's now 2 away here at the top of the 5th.
Now batting shortstop, Miguel.
Well, Miguel Betancourt will get a crack here. His third AB, 1 for 2. Left stranded back in the second after he lit off the inning with a base hit. Started at third base, moved over to short when Ovis went to the mound in relief of Brendan Staben. And now Betancourt will bat with nobody aboard and 2 down. Takes a look at a called first pitch strike. Faust getting ahead of Betancourt. And it's no balls and 1 strike. 6-1, Janesville Craig, number 1 in the state for another week. And it's now no balls and 2 strikes. Faust quickly ahead and 1 pitch away, getting out of a 5th inning. Defense shaded around for Betancourt to pull it. A lot of room in right center. Campbell setting up away, and Betancourt spoils the 0-2 foul. No balls and 2 strikes on Betancourt. Heart of the order, middle of the order, 4, 5, and 6 due up for the Cougars when we get to the bottom of the 5th. If it stands true, they would need 5 to implore the 10-run mercy rule and end it short. And there's a fly ball to fairly shallow center field. Kramer took 1 step back, stopped, and then came in about 5 or 6 strides to make the call in the catch. Betancourt is down for the 2nd straight time, out to center field, and that's the 3rd out recorded here in the 5th. 1 run for Beloit Memorial, though. They scratch it across, 1 hit, no errors, and nobody left on base. 4.5 complete now for Riverside Park in Janesville. It's Beloit Memorial, trailing Janesville Craig 6-1 here on the Big AM of 1380, the Big AM of 1380.com. Here, Veterans Field, Riverside Park in Janesville. Janesville Parker up in Middleton this afternoon. They're wrapping theirs up in the 7th. Janesville Parker getting close to the finish line. 7-2 now. Full insurance run late. They lead over the Middleton Cardinals. Back here, Janesville Craig with a 6-1 lead. Atop Beloit Memorial, the Purple Knights get their first run and only run of the board across to the top of the 5th. After a leadoff single, a balk, a fly out, an advancement on a tag, and then a wild pitch. Corbin Ovis coming across, and he's going to get a big swing and a miss from Jacob Campbell in the first offering here in their battle. It's no balls and a strike against the big slugging catcher for the Janesville Craig Cougars. Janesville Craig, after wearing the all whites on Saturday, coming back with the gray slacks and the royal blue uniform tops. Cougars encrusted in the cursive in white. Same for the numbers, front and back in white with the red outline and trim. And the 1-1. There's a strike on the outer half. Corbin Ovis rocking and firing right now in a nice little groove on in relief of Brendan Staben. 2nd inning of work, full inning of work. And the wind-up pitch, 1-2. Did he go? They're going to peel down to first, and they're going to say no. And I would like the umpires to take a polygraph test to see if they're actually always paying attention on those, or if they're going to the old safe call of, nope, didn't see it, let's not call that one. Really got to be paying attention to that. And have very good eyesight. 2-2. Chopper hit the short. Betancourt, nice pick. Nice throw. Is it in time? It is not. It's a split second late, and the swiftly moving catcher of Jacob Campbell getting down the line quickly to beat out that infield single. And it's a leadoff base runner for the Cougars. So Jacob Campbell, a infield single as he beats that one out. So after not getting a leadoff base runner any of the first 2 innings, now the third consecutive inning, Janesville Craig gets the leadoff man aboard. And a quick throw and trying to get Campbell napping like they did earlier at second base. Cannot at first base, at least on that attempt. He's in there safely. Noah Berghammer will bat. A couple of RBIs in his first 2 trips. We'll wait on the first offering. He'll lay a bunt down, pulls it back. And that is going to be 1 ball and no strikes. Berghammer, when you go to bunt, you lean in. Even if you don't try to lean in, you're leaning right over the plate, and that one almost shaved the left side of his face. 1 ball and no strikes on Noah Berghammer. That's from the right side. A little wiggle that bat over his right shoulder. Ovis, the kick and fire. Quick throw down to first after the strike call. Campbell is back in plenty of time. A lot of snap throws from the catcher Mackinnon here tonight. Sometimes just got to make sure that arm's still alive. 1 ball, 1 strike to the second baseman for Janesville Craig. Another quick turn and throw over to Campbell. He has stolen 2 bases here tonight. Campbell may be thinking he's got the beat and he's got the right read tonight. May catch him leaning here. He's 2 for 2, but he's been picked off once. Ovis off that first base side of the pitching rubber, throwing from the right-hand side. And the 1-1 to Berghammer coming home. There's a strike on the outside. 1 ball, 2 strikes on the Cougars' second baseman. Beloit Memorial will come back to Janesville on Thursday. They'll take on the Parker Vikings, who are potentially on the verge of picking up their first conference win of the season. And the 1-2. Runner's going to go to second, and they're going to stop play. They're going to call a balk because Campbell, he read it, was on his way to second. His teammates were yelling at Ovis to throw it to second, and he did, but in a legal manner. So that's the second balk we've had this 5th inning. Had 1 at the top, and now 1 here in the bottom of the frame of the 5th. A balk apiece. And runner at second base for the Cougars. They lead at 6-1, and now the leadoff man Campbell is standing at second base with nobody out. Berghammer is down in the count at 1 ball and 2 strikes. Berghammer looking to drive in his 3rd run of the contest. Ovis will look, turn, and fire. And that one's a little bit high and outside. 2 balls and 2 strikes now. We approach the top of the 7 o'clock hour in the evening time. Game started at 4 minutes to 5 o'clock tonight. Here's the 2-2 as Ovis continues to look at second. Now comes home, and it's going to be lifted to shallow right field. Yeah, coming in to make the call, make the catch, Trent Porter. And he'll get there right in front of J.D. Dixon, the second baseman, running out. And there's the first out of the frame here in the bottom of the 5th.
First baseman, Luke Melminger.
So 1 on and 1 out now for the Cougars in the 5th. Luke Melminger will bat, the first baseman who flew out to center his first time up, then drove in a run with a single right back up the box in the 3rd. And then he was picked off at second base, much like Campbell was. Chance for an RBI with Campbell standing at second base right now. Dixon, the second baseman, fakes like he's going to go to the second base bag. Ovis, the long stare down. Now comes home. First offering to Melminger is low. And it's 1 ball and no strikes. So Beloit Memorial will go to Janesville Parker, or come back here to take on Janesville Parker, I should say. And then they're off until the 25th. A long break in terms of baseball season, Mother Nature permitting. They'll play the 25th, 1 week from today at Middleton. Excuse me, they'll be home to Middleton at the Sports Complex in Beloit. Then on Thursday, the 27th, they'll host Madison Memorial. Memorial's been off to a fine start this season at 4-1, entering play tonight. The 2-0 to Melminger. Long stare down for Ovis. Now comes home. And the 2-0 is going to be lifted to right field. Right at Porter, who makes the catch. Quick throw to second. but not going to be in time as Campbell took off with the pitch, had to retreat, and he got there just in time. And there's now 2 outs here in the last of the 5th, as Nick Kramer will come up to bat. Back-to-back flyouts to right field. And it's up to Nick Kramer to keep things alive here for the Janesville Craig Cougars. Tip the cap here to Corbin Ovis to come on in relief here for Coach Ryan Schmidt's club to get the job done. 1 unearned run allowed here for Ovis in relief in his second full inning of work. And now Nick Kramer, who's yet to have an official at-bat, who's been hit and walked here tonight. And stranded at second and first base, respectively. Mentioned Thursday night what's happening, but tonight we mentioned Janesville Parker at Middleton, Sun Prairie at Madison Memorial, and Kramer's going to get hit again. This one at the shoulder, perhaps in the neck. That one got him way upstairs. He's all right, quickly running down the line, not showing any effects as if he was even hit by a baseball. Until adage, don't show your fear. Don't show your pain. Throw up some dirt on it. And Kramer's aboard for the 3rd time without an official at-bat. The batting average can't go up or down, but the on-base percentage is skyrocketing here tonight. And now Caleb White will bat for the 3rd time. He's 1 for 2 with a single. Nearly knocked the pinstripes off Brendan Stevens' jersey back in the 2nd when he singled right back up the box. Runners on 1st and 2nd, and 2 outs. And that pitch is going to miss. 1 ball and no strikes on Caleb White. Also, La Follette is at Verona. The Wildcats, despite losing Ben Rortvedt, their catcher last year, to the Major League Baseball amateur draft in the 2nd round of the Minnesota Twins and the conference's Player of the Year. Keaton Knippel, one of the star pitchers in this state, southpaw. 1 ball and 1 strike as that one hits the paint. Verona off to a nice start here this season in the Big 8. 4-2 overall, 3-2 in the conference. Started out 3-0. And the 1-1 just inside against the left-handed hitter White. And the other matchup here tonight at the Big 8 is the old Madison East-West rivalry. Madison East 1-4 in the early goings, including that 11-1 loss last night to the Purple Knights. Madison West 4-1. They were part 6-1 overall. They were part of that 4-team sectional over at Pullman Field last spring. And there's a strike. Now 2 balls and 2 strikes. West was the team that kept Beloit Memorial from playing in the home sectional in the regional final. West and West and Verona played in the 2nd sectional semifinal last year. The tail end of May, early June. It's now 3 balls and 2 strikes on White as Corbin Ovis misfires in that backdoor bender. It was Janesville Craig, an 11-1 win over Janesville Parker in the 1st sectional semifinal. That was the morning contest, I think a 10 a.m. start time. West against Verona. And then it was Janesville Craig over Verona. Clinched their spot in their 2nd straight state tournament appearance. And a 3-2. White hits the top of the pitching mound. 1 out be recorded. All that's necessary. 6 unassisted. Betancourt will take that one to the bag at 2nd. Getting Nick Kramer out. And that'll retire the side here in the last of the 5th inning. Janesville Craig comes up empty for just the 2nd time here tonight, pushing runs across the scoreboard. They get the benefit of 1 base hit, no errors, and they leave 1. 5 complete for Riverside. It's Janesville Craig 6, Beloit Memorial nothing. This is high school baseball, the Big AM of 1380, and the Big AM of 1380.com. High school baseball, the Big AM of 1380, the Big AM of 1380.com. Also brought to you by American Family Insurance agent Shannon Ahrens. Living, working, and supporting the community is what separates American Family Insurance agent Shannon Ahrens from all the rest. You can count on outstanding personal service from the Shannon Ahrens Agency and American Family Insurance, proudly serving Beloit and the surrounding communities. As we head to the top of inning number 6, it's Janesville Craig 6, Beloit Memorial 1. And Jacob Faust back on the bump for the Cougars. And the first pitch is going to be wide of the mark. It's 1 ball and no strikes. It's 6, 7, and 8 due up for the Purple Knights. Lewis, Elliott, Dixon, as Faust continues to throw for the Cougars. And the 1-0 is outside corner. It's 1 ball and 1 strike. That one clipped the edge, evens it up at a ball and a strike. Janesville Craig, we got the Beloit upcoming schedule. And it's now 2 balls and a strike as that one misfires. After the win last night, 9-2 over Baraboo, tonight, Janesville Craig taking on Beloit. They'll be at Madison Memorial on Thursday. Then at Beaver Dam this weekend for a tournament. Next week, Madison West on the road, back home against Verona. As Lewis hits one on the ground, in the grass goes Blomgren, makes the pick, and the throw gets Lewis by a half stride. Nice throw. I don't know what was more impressive, the pick or the throw for Blomgren. Showing his range and showing off the arm. First up, here the 6 is retired, and Lewis is down. 6-3 on the putout, and leadoff man is retired again for Beloit. Purple Knights just twice have gotten the leadoff man aboard through the first 6 innings now. And batting now for the left-hand side, the left fielder, Matt Elliott, takes a look at a called first pitch strike. It's no balls and 1 strike against the Beloit left fielder. And Elliott will step right back in. Faust, the kick from the turn. Breaking ball just misfires. It's 1 ball and 1 strike. So Beaver Dam this weekend at Madison West on Tuesday. Home to Verona next week, Thursday. So busy week next week. Busy 3 games here for Craig, all important. Create some breathing room in the conference, perhaps. 1 ball and 2 strikes as Faust gets the edge. Then the following week, it's at Jefferson. We talked about Jefferson, a little non-conference action. Top-ranked teams potentially in their respective divisions. Madison will follow it in Madison East. And then at Sun Prairie. And the 1-2. Just kind of a check swing, just staying alive, protecting, results in a base hit to right field. Under the glove of Melmanger and too far out of the range of Berghammer. And it's a base hit to right field for Matt Elliott. His first base hit, second time aboard in the base paths. He's 1 for 2 with a walk and a single now. 1 on, 1 out for J.D. Dixon, the second baseman, who walked his last time up after he struck out his first time up. So he will bat from the right-hand side. It's Janesville Craig with a 6-1 lead here as we play on in the 6th inning. The lights are on. A lot of cloud cover. Still a beautiful evening. And the first offering here to Dixon is in tight. 1 ball and no strikes. Austin Jensen will bat here next, barring a double play or an out to the batter and a base path blunder. Foul setting at the letters, kicking and firing. That one's in there, but low. It's now 2 balls and no strikes. Softball action on the schedule from today. Beloit Memorial at Janesville Parker. Middleton at La Follette. Dan Bay Riders Club of Janesville Craig at Madison Memorial. East at Verona and west at Sun Prairie. We'll have the upcoming Janesville Craig Parker softball game from the sports complex coming up on the airwaves in the early part of May. Not far away from coming up on the schedule. Two balls and a strike now. And the 2-1 check swing. Did he go? They're going to peel, and no, he didn't go, apparently, because the old umpires. Now 3 balls and a strike. The umpire in the field is behind second base, so he didn't have a really good look at that one. 3 balls and 1 strike. On the second baseman, J.D. Dixon. And the 3-1 inside. That's a called strike, though. It's now full, 3 balls and 2 strikes. Defense pretty much straight up across the board in the outfield and the infield here for the Cougars. And we'll see now if the runner will go with the pitch. 6-1 deficit, but a full count. Foss, extra half second he holds, comes home, fires in low, and away. It's ball 4, and there's a free pass issued here in the top of the 6th. Runners on first and second with that walk. And Austin Jensen will step in for the third time. He struck out looking in his previous 2 appearances. Struck out to lead off the third, and struck out for the second out in the 4th. 2 on, 1 out of the top of the 6th here at Veterans Field. And the first offering is in there for a called strike 1. It's 1 strike in nothing on Jensen. The Cougars will have 9, 1, and 2 due up as they'll flip the lineup over for the 4th time when we get to the last of the 6th inning. Potentially an insurance run opportunity. And here's a chopper back to Faust. Double clutches, throws to second for 1. The fielder's choice on to first. No, not in time. Looked like Faust wanted to go to third initially to get the lead runner. Then he threw it to second, but he had a double pump. And that slight hesitation allowed the runner in Jensen to get down the line to first in time to beat out a potential inning-ending double play. So fielder's choice, 1-6. Will get the second out at second base. Elliott is down to third, while Jensen is on at first base. And with 2 on, runners on the corners and 2 outs, we go back to the top of Drew Freitag batting. A lot of room out in the right center as the 4th time around for Beloit Memorial begins. And the first offering to Freitag is outside, down and away. 1 ball and no strikes. Freitag a quick step out before he steps right back in. And a 1 ball, no strike count. Now, that's a big spot here. 6-1. It felt like it's been larger than a 5-run inning. But a base hit or even an extra base hit here from Freitag really makes things interesting and tight late in this one. 1 ball and a strike as Faust gets the corner. Faust comes home. And there's a rip to left field. That's going to get down. Base hit to left field. Freitag has another base knock, this time an RBI. And it's 6-2. Janesville Craig's lead has been trimmed to 4 here at the top of the 6th, but there are 2 outs. Base hits. Scoring Elliott. Jensen is on his way to second. Freitag at first. And before Ovis steps in, let's pause 10 seconds for station ID. 10 for an ID. This is high school baseball on the Big AM at 1380.
Local radio is back, and we've got the letters to prove it. The Big AM 1380, WBEL AM, South Beloit, Janesville, Beloit.
Mike Daly behind the scenes at the Big AM 1380 headquarters. Mike Zwiefel here at Veterans Field, Riverside Park in Janesville. And a 6-2 Janesville Craig lead over Beloit Memorial here in high school baseball at the top of the 6th inning. Beloit Memorial with 1 run in each of the 5th and the 6th innings, respectively, still batting here in the 6th. On 6 base hits and 3 errors. Janesville Craig 2 in the 1st, 3 in the 3rd, 1 in the 4th. 6 runs total on 8 hits, no errors. And the second offering to Ovis is down low, 1 ball and 1 strike down the count. 6-2, 2 more out there to go and get for Beloit Memorial, but they're down to 2 outs here in this top of the 6th already. And Ovis is going to step out. Foss on in relief of Mitchell Wolfley, who hit 3 in the 3rd. Shutout baseball, allowed 3 hits, did walk 4. Struck out 3. Faust came in the 4th with a couple on base and only 1 out. And it's 2 balls and a strike to Ovis. Two balls and a strike, 2 outs, top of the 6th. And again, Janesville Craig just 1 out of the way of getting out of trouble here in the 6th and getting that much closer to the finish line. They're 4 outs away of doing so. They need to get 4 outs before Beloit Memorial will get at least 4 runs. And coming home, off the end of the bat, this one may get down right center field. The second baseman drifting back into the outfield, and a nice catch is going to be made for Berghammer. Berghammer drifted back over the shoulder grab, outstretched reach, and Ovis is down on the pop flying to shallow right field, and the top of the 6th comes to a close. Beloit Memorial, they do scratch for 1 run. They do so on the benefit of a couple of hits, no errors, and they leave 2 stranded. 5.5 complete now from Veterans Field here at Riverside Park. It's now Janesville Craig 6, Beloit Memorial 2 here on the Big AM of 1380 and the Big AM of 1380.com. New pitcher on the mound for Beloit Memorial in the last of the 6th inning, and they're doing quite the complete makeover here as Steve Makinen will come out from behind home plate to pitch here the 6th inning, potentially the final inning of the day for Beloit Memorial. While he moves to the mound, Corbin Ovis, who went from shortstop to the mound, goes back to shortstop. Going from third base to shortstop back to third base is Miguel Betancourt. And I believe Crosby goes from third to second, and the second baseman, Dixon, goes behind home plate to catch. A lot of ink, a lot of scribbles, a lot of arrows, and we got it all figured out. So it'll be Makinen to pitch here for Beloit Memorial in the bottom of the 6th. Just the second time he's been on the mound here this season. He got the win his first appearance. It was in relief where he went 2 2/3 innings. Faced 12 batters, gave up 3 hits, 250 average against. And first pitch swinging here is Dan Blomgren against Makinen. Will fly out to the first baseman on the infield. 1 pitch, 1 out for Makinen on the infield fly. So 1 up, 1 down. And we go back to the top of the order. Jack Blomgren and Austin Krause also due up here in the bottom of the 6th inning. 6-2, Janesville Craig leading Beloit Memorial. Just to finish up on Makinen, 2 2/3 innings, giving up 2 runs, 1 allowed that was earned. Struck out 2 and did not walk a batter. And the first pitch here to Jack Blomgren is a little bit out of the zone, 1 ball and no strikes. So we gave you the Beloit Turner went over Jefferson earlier today. Janesville Parker getting a complete game from Casey Stone, 8-2, first conference win. Top Middleton. Middleton a little slow out of the gates here this year, despite preseason number 17 in Division I. One of 3 Big 8 teams ranked in the top 20 preseason. A little slow out of the gates. Still a lot of time to get things turned around, and the consistency or lack thereof of games played during the spring season at times. And you just want to get hot at the right time. Get to the sectional and see what happens. Now 2 balls and a strike to Blomgren. Here's Makinen misfires. Krause on deck. If anybody can reach, Spry will bat. As Makinen leg kick, high bounce there. That one's going to rip into left field for a base knock. Blomgren gets his first hit of the contest and aboard for the first time. Jack's going to be glad to see that number. 1 for 4, the base knock. And he'll be at first base with 1 on and 1 out. Austin Krause will step in. Couple of runs scored for Krause and a run driven in on a sac fly. He's also stole the base. 1 for 2, sac fly, reached on an air, stolen base, and a couple of runs scored as Corbin Ovis has to readjust the leather as well as the shoe. Loop, swoop, and pull at the shortstop position. And now Krause will step in for the 4th time. Blomgren, we'll see if he decides to steal a base. He'll start, stop, buttless flash, pulled back. 6-2 game. Not out of the question to see if the Cougars try to scratch another run or 2 across. Only a 4-run contest. Krause pulled the bat back. 1 strike and nothing. Check on the runner, Blomgren. And he's back in time. And the 0-1, Blomgren going. He's going to be in with a stolen base, standing up, and that's going to get away. It's going to bobble away from Ovis into shallow center field. Doesn't have to get away far, and Blomgren will steal second, and he'll advance to third on the air. 4th air now for Beloit Memorial in the contest. And Blomgren was 32 out of 33 stealing bases last year. He's already off to another fantastic start again this year. I don't know if he's going to get 32 this year, but another one here tonight. Still a lot of baseball to be played. That's number 6. Add the 2 he had from last night. So he's at 8. That's still 24 to go. And he was only caught once last year. And he's yet to be picked off this year, knock on wood. But he had that one stolen quite easily. And the 1-2 to Kraus now. Infield comes in. And Dixon blocks this one. Keeps Blomgren at bay at third base. So the infield is in, trying to keep this at a 4-run differential here in the last of the 6th inning. It'll be 3, 4, and 5 due up for Beloit Memorial when we get to the top of the 7th. As Kraus continues the battle here in the bottom of the 6th. Two balls, 2 strikes. Kraus spoils another one fouled up along first. Janesville Craig swept the series a year ago between these two. Winning in Beloit back on April 11th last year, 7-3. Another block by Dick Sabiano plate. Once 0-2, now full of 3 balls and 2 strikes against Kraus. Janesville Craig would also win 6-0 on May the 3rd. That was here at Riverside on a Tuesday night. And there's a high fly ball for Kraus, hit to fairly deep left center field, ranging over and getting to that one in left center field. But after it drops is the left fielder, Elliott. And did they get him? No, it looks like Kraus is going to be in there safely with an RBI double. That one hung up in the air for quite some time. Not sure perhaps if Elliott lost that one to the lighting or not, but it's an RBI double for Kraus. And Kraus has his second RBI of the contest with the RBI double. His second base hit. He brings in Blomgren to make it a 7-2 ball game, as Blomgren's will score his first. So 7-2, the lead goes to 5 now for Janesville Craig, as Evan Spry will step in and bat with an RBI out there. He's got one already today when he banged a double off the right center field wall. He's also struck out twice. Evan Spry looks at a called strike one. Now leave it up at a ball and a strike. So 1 ball and 1 strike. Janesville Craig with a 7-2 lead, their first run since the 4th inning. And McInerney comes inside. Spry gets around on it, but well early. And he pulls that one foul up along first. One ball and 2 strikes on Spry. Two of the more prestigious programs in spring baseball history. Beloit Memorial, 6 trips to the state tournament. It's program history. Backing up, slipping, coming in a step to make the catch there for the second out is Freitag. Then he'll throw it into third base, trying to get the tagging Austin Kraus. Going to be a little bit late. Kraus is in there safely at third on the tag, as Spry will fly out to center field. Beloit has not been to state, however, since 1993. Been close. Had some very good teams. They won it all back in 1965. 2 outs now as Campbell will step in for the 4th time. An RBI, 2-run score, 2 stolen bases, 2 base hits, and was hit by a pitch. And he's going to smoke one into left field. That's going to get down. RBI for Jacob Campbell. A quick bobble, but Campbell's going to stay put at first base. He has had some trouble on the base paths here this evening. But another RBI for Jacob Campbell as he continues to be a run-producing machine. Kraus, who tagged, will come in and score. And it's now an 8-2 lead for Janesville Craig. Still batting with 2 outs in the 6th, as Noah Berghammer will step in and bat now. Berghammer has also driven in 2 tonight. 2 base hits and 3 trips. Takes one high and in. 1 ball and no strikes now. Melmanger looking to get another at bat. He's on deck. As Janesville Craig extending their lead now, 8-2. That's the good teams do. They pile on late just in case. That one's down and away. 2 balls and no strikes on Berghammer. Defense straight up in the outfield. And the Cougars want to get this one, the 2-0. That one's in there a little bit low. After some epic battles in the Legion baseball season between a lot of the same characters in this game here tonight. 30 wins for the Beloit team this past Legion season, including a win 3-0 back in June. And there's a strike called, 3 balls and a strike now. Beloit would also beat fall to Janesville 11-7, so they would split their first 2 meetings. Janesville would win the second meeting. Between the two, Beloit would win the second meeting to pick up their 21st win of the season. They would win 1-0. And they would win 6-5 in the final meeting of the summer between the two. Full count now as Campbell will take second base. And the 3-2, check swing, did he go? They're going to say no, ball 4. And Noah Berghammer is aboard. So Campbell on at second, Berghammer back on at first on another free pass. And Luke Malmanger becomes the 7th different Cougar to come to the batter's box here in this 6th inning. 2 runs are in, 2 more are on, 2 are down. Malmanger will bat. He's 1 for 3 with an RBI. And he takes a look at 1 down and away. Don't forget to join us Thursday night back here on the Big AM of 1380. Back here at Janesville's Riverside Park as Janesville Parker will take on Beloit Memorial. First pitch set for right about 5 p.m. Pre-game show just after 4:30, and that one got away from Ackinen, and that got Malmanger. And Malmanger will take his base as he is plunked. That's the 3rd different Cougar to get hit by a pitch here this evening. And now the bases are loaded. And Nick Kramer is going to look to put one somewhere deep in an alley to make this an even bigger margin. As Coach Ryan Schmidt's going to come on and have a word with Stephen Mackinen here, who's just 1 out away, getting out of trouble here in the 6th and taking this one to the 7th. Probably just one of those situations. Going to calm everybody down, take a deep breath, say, hey, we got this. We're almost there. Get out of this inning, and we'll see what happens at the top of the 7th with the bats. High school baseball brought to you in part by Jones's Auto Service, providing complete automotive repair services for all makes and models, and customer satisfaction is their guarantee. Jones's Auto Service, 1200 Center Avenue, Janesville. Jones's Auto, our family, serving yours. So 8-2, Janesville Craig leading Beloit Memorial. Here in the bottom of the 6th with 2 outs, Nick Kramer batting as he takes a first pitch called strike 1. 8-1, bottom of the 6th. Bases loaded for the Cougars. And they can really make this one lopsided here at the Big Blast. And a breaking ball just missed, bending back in the zone. Kramer is 0 for 0. Has yet to have an official at bat. Was hit by a pitch in the 2nd. Walked in the 3rd. And then was hit right about the elbow, or not the elbow, I should say, but right at the shoulder. The knee to the shoulder. His 3rd trip to the batter's box. He's had now 2 balls and a strike here in the last of the 6th. Mackinen with the wind-up, leg kick in the throw, and that one, did it get Kramer? It almost did. If it didn't, at this point, Kramer's like, I just want to swing the bat. Dust off the helmet, gets right back into the batter's box. It's 3 balls and 1 strike. And some guys, you can't explain it. They just have a knack of having the baseball come at them. All different angles. Doesn't crowd the plate more than any other guy. And the 3-1 comes in tight again. And it's ball 4. That's an RBI. 4th trip in the batter's box. He's reached base each of the 4 times without having to swing the bat. And that's going to be a RBI for Nick Kramer. Scoring, Jacob Campbell. Berghammer to 3rd. Malmanger to 2nd. And Kramer on his way to 1st as Caleb White will bat. 9-2 with the run pushed across on the RBI. And White makes this the 9th different Cougar to come in the box. Here in the 6th. And the first pitch is in there, called strike 1. Mackin has gotten in front of his fair share of hitters. 5 out of the 9 he's seen here in the 6 has been first pitch strikes. Better than 50%. But now it's right back at 1-1 with that one outside. 1 ball, 1 strike. Bases remain loaded, 9-2. Craig with the lead over Beloit the last of the 6. It's now 2 balls and a strike. White will step out. Makinen ready to work. He works from the windup. The base is loaded. A little extra power, a little more fluid motion. And there's White. He's going to punt one down, and that's going to punctuate there in right field. 1 run will score. A second one on its way, and Melmanger right behind his teammate. The throw to third, not in time. That's going to allow White 2 RBIs and also advancement to second base. Single and advancement, 2 RBIs, and it's 11-2. How about a 2 RBI single for Caleb White? He'll get the base hits, advance to second. Kramer all the way to third. Scoring from second right behind Berghammer is Melmanger. And it's an 11-2 ball game as Dan Blomgren will bat for the second time here in the 6th inning. Takes a first pitch called strike. And I believe, haven't had too many of these situations, this would be a walk-off 10-run rule with the run here. And the 0-1 coming home. And Blomgren chased one across the batter's box. Strike 2. Top of the 7th if we get there. 3, 4, and 5 due up for Beloit Memorial. And interesting to see if Jacob Faust comes back on in relief. If we get there, the 0-2 check swing. Or excuse me, a foul ball as he chipped that one back to the backstop. As Dan Blomgren, he's cutting away here at the perhaps his final at bat, most likely of the contest. Dan flew out to left, reached down in there and scored in the 4th. Takes one high, 1 ball, 2 strikes, and popped out on the infield of the first baseman his last time up. Now, if you remember, when he reached on the air in the 4th, he was also hit by the baseball. So he shook it up a little bit. And he gets around on 1, puts this one into right field, giving chase, and that's going to get down between Porter and Freitag all the way to the wall. 2 runs are going to score. Blomgren's into second with a 2 RBI double. And that's going to push this one to 13-2, and that's going to be a walk-off 2 RBI double for the Cougar left fielder. How about that for an ending on the Janesville Craig side? A 2 RBI double, scoring both Kramer from third for the 10th run and the 11th run differential. Caleb White coming across, and the handshake line will ensue. Janesville Craig going to win this one by a count of 13-2, as Janesville Craig will end it at 7:29 here in the evening time. Janesville Craig will improve to 8-0, 6-0 in conference, while Beloit Memorial will fall to 5-4 and 2-4 inside the Big 8. Janesville Craig a winner here tonight, 13-2 atop Beloit Memorial.